Hello and welcome to episode 111 of the Skips View podcast. My name is Dean.
My name is Sam.
We do not have Brett today. This is not a suspension for Brett. He's not in jail. Although, if you listen to last week's episode, and when I went and re-listened to it, I noticed this little screw up he had. Not screw up, but did you listen to this episode, Sam, when he goes, batters don't even like taking batting practice; they just do it for the fans.
I did not listen to that part, no. But that is
He says
what
they don't
what,
get.
what was his
He's
philosophy behind that?
he says they don't get anything from it.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Yeah, I
That's wrong.
know.
I'm
I know.
sorry, Brett.
So
It's
so
wrong.
this in a way is jail for a week. Although Brett is that's not the reason he's not here. He's in jail for the week because in the moment I was he was also saying something about uh, golf and how they walk a lot, so that's how they can get hurt. And I was taken aback by that at the same time. So I kind of overlooked it. Then when I was re-listening, I'm like, what is he talking about with this batting practice? It's a terrible take. So Brett in jail for this episode. So we'll just go right into the hot corner. I think the biggest news, the biggest surprise from this weekend is the Luis Arias trade. And I'll pull up the exact players that were involved in the trade. But he goes from Miami to San Diego, and Miami's paying for the entire contract except for the minimum. So what was your like gut gut reaction when you saw this?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, super awesome to see a blockbuster trade kind of early on in May. Usually don't really see these types of trades until I feel like around the trade deadline. So that was really cool to see. I'm a big trade deadline guy, so anytime you kind of get something a little bit before that is kind of gravy. But honestly, my first and honest reaction to it was the Marlins fire sale is starting, and it's starting earlier than I thought it was going to start. I thought it would be probably starting around June or July. But Peter Bendix, he's pretty new to Miami, not new to the state of Florida. He was with the Rays for a while, did a great job with them, and I think he kind of saw the team on paper, saw them out on the field, got a full month of being able to watch them lose a lot of ball games, and was just like, yeah, no, I'm done. We're gonna start this thing right away. Interesting that he went with the Padres. I feel like Preller is pretty aggressive when it comes to trades, so that kind of made sense, I guess, in the state that like maybe you could get like a bundle of prospects for him, and I guess trying to sell high on him as high as possible because he was really not off to a great start. I think he's the worst defender in baseball right now, at least on the infield side of things. He did just go 4 for 5 last night in his first game as a Padre, though, so that's pretty cool to see. Kind of channeling his inner Tony Gwynn, but yeah, I mean, initial thoughts. It's cool that we have a blockbuster in May. I've always been kind of a big Arias fan. I just love how he's a pure hitter. There's not too many of those in the game anymore. It seems like. And the package back. I know you said you were going to mention it, but I have some of the players here. It's Dylan Head, the infielder,
Yep.
Wusiko, the relief pitcher, Jacob Marcy, the outfield prospect, and I'm blanking on the fourth guy, but I'm a big fan of Marcy too. So
Martorella.
okay, what position is he?
Yeah. At first base outfield.
Okay. Okay. I'm not super
So
familiar with him, but Marcy is a guy who I've liked for a while too. He was really good in the Arizona Fall League this past fall. So kind of an interesting bundle of prospects coming back to Miami. But yeah, sort of my initial thoughts really just is seems like Bendix really is gonna tear this thing down super quickly.
yeah, I think for me, I was surprised by again with the Padres just the amount, like you said, his defense is bad or poor right now, so he's going to play a lot of DH, I assume. But they're just so loaded in the infield. But the Marlins paying that 10 million, I guess, makes up for it.
Yeah, I guess eating
I'm
eating the
surprised.
contract definitely makes up for it. But I mean, it's like AJ Preller. Like a lot of his trades are pretty head scratching in my opinion. And that infield is so loaded. You have Cronenworth, you have Bogarts, you have Machado already, you have Ha-Seong Kim. So, like you said, maybe they're gonna DH him because his bat is so good, or at least has been so good. So it'll be interesting to kind of see where they go from there.
Yeah, I don't want the Red Sox to give up any of their prospects, but I would have liked to see the Red Sox maybe go. I feel like it just came out of nowhere, so I don't know if there were any other teams that were really really involved. So yeah,
No, absolutely. I mean, he would have fit right in with Boston too, especially with kind of how depleted their infield is injury wise too. So I mean, that would have been pretty cool. But this kind of seems to me like something that just like I don't know if it was Preller that called Bendix about it or Bendix that called Preller about it. Wherever it was, it kind of seemed like it was just it happened super quickly because there were no rumors about anything like that at all.
Where does Dylan Head fall in like MLB prospect rankings?
I believe he's a
Do you
top
know?
100 guy. I'm gonna search that up right now.
See if
But
you can find that real quick.
he's the Padres' eighth best prospect, so maybe he isn't a top 100 guy.
Yeah,
Um,
I feel like he's not. So again, I try to think of an equivalent that the Red Sox could have given up, like a non-top 100 guy.
yeah, he's not a top 100 guy actually. Just search that up.
I
Um,
think it's just for 1 year, so I don't know if I really wanted the Red Sox to go for him. But I just thought
yeah, no,
it was surprising. The move was surprising overall.
definitely just surprising to see that passing bomb. Um, quick thing about Head, just before we kind of get to different things, but I'm kind of worried about his development now a little bit, just because of Miami's inability to develop some infielders and just kind of hitters in general in their farm. Vito Brujan maybe being one of the latest guys, Xavier Edwards too, although I know he's kind of hurt, and Jacob Berry, guys like that. So it's definitely not a farm you really want to get traded to if you're doing Head.
No, I have a Jacob Berry card like right in front of me too. Where is it? It's an
Dude, I
at
traded for him
99.
in my MLB The Show franchise with the Red Sox, and like he's just like tearing it up for me now. But like I always loved him like when he was younger and stuff. But like
Yeah,
it sucks to see
I would like to
he had
make
such a bad year last year.
I'd like to make money off of this. I probably won't though. All right, so next thing we have is in the hot corner. I just put this because I think it's really ugly. Is the City Connect jersey? So I'll share this for our YouTube and X watchers. These are the Tampa Bay Rays. I would argue that they're the worst City Connect jerseys so far. I have to have
Wow.
all of them lined. I have to have them all lined up next to me, I guess, to really
What
compare. And
don't you like
maybe
about them? Because I'm kind of gonna go the opposite direction. It's not that they're my favorite. There's definitely better ones out there. But
I
I
just think the
actually I'm a
fabric.
fan of it.
I just think the fabric looks weird. Like, look at that. Is it supposed to be like
It does. It
scales?
does look like snake skin or like something like that. And I don't know
Yeah,
like what
I
supposed to
don't
be.
like snakes, so that's probably just subconsciously
I just
why.
think the
I
glow in
don't
the
know.
dark aspect is kind of cool. And I mean,
See, I
hey,
don't like
they're 3-0 in them now. They just swept the Mets.
that is true. That is true. I think the
Crazy.
logo is just weird too. I don't know if we can really see it here.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
up there
and yeah,
on
and
the
then they're like
helmet.
bringing in
Like,
like
what
the whole
is?
skateboard aspect to it too. Is that supposed to be a bridge like on top of the ray? I don't know.
I don't know. Like connecting St. Petersburg and Tampa Bay.
Maybe,
I'll have
maybe.
to look
I
into
don't
that.
know enough about Tampa Bay. Like I don't even like. All of a sudden, like all these Rays fans on my Twitter feed are like loving like the skateboard aspect of it. I had no idea like everyone like skateboards in Tampa Bay. Or if that's
I
a
didn't know
real
that
thing.
either. I don't know
Yeah.
that because I never go to Tampa Bay and I never will. So that's that. We should do a rankings of the City Connect jerseys. I'll write
Yeah,
that
no,
down.
I would like that. I'd actually probably put those in my top five though. I'd
That's
like to see
crazy.
your rankings though, just to like see, like off the top of your head, what are some that you like?
I like the Cincinnati Reds ones
Okay.
because just the black and red is sick. Obviously, I like the Red Sox. Although I wouldn't like go and buy the Red Sox. Here's the difference: if the Red Sox had the Cincinnati Red jersey, I will go out and buy it. I won't go out and buy the Red Sox City Connect jersey just because it's just too loud.
It is super. It's super loud
It's just
for like a
so bright.
fan to like wear. Like if you're just like walking around like the grocery store or something with that on, like it's like
Yeah, you can't. You just bring so much attention to yourself
100%.
that I wouldn't.
I think my favorite is the Angels though for sure. The Angels ones are sweet.
Angels good. Seattle's I like the blue. Trying to think if there's anyone else like off the top of my head. I don't like the Phillies one. Oh, Washington.
No,
I like
The
Washington's.
Phillies one is disgusting. Which one did you just say?
Nationals.
Nah, I love the Nationals one. Nationals might be my favorite one, to be honest with you. And I heard they're getting rid of
And
them
then
next year, which kind of sucks. I don't know why they do that.
yeah, and then probably I like Baltimore's too because of like the all black. So like the Reds and the red in Baltimore, Reds in Baltimore are similar. We're gonna do a rankings though. That's a good episode. Moving on though,
Definitely.
Oakland Athletics. I don't want to. I guess you're going to talk about them later on, so I won't speak to this too much. Just they're the first team to score 20 runs this season, and right now they just lost a few minutes ago, but they're 17-18 on the year, 2-3 games back in the division. So you're going to talk a little bit more about them. So I'll hold off. I'll hold off on that. And we'll just run through some basic news and notes, some injuries, a lot of injuries actually to some big guys. One of them being one of your war draft picks. But Walker Buehler will be returning tomorrow. Brett, this is the only contribution Brett made to the notes, although we talked about it on Friday. So I highlighted and said we already talked about this, but Brett loves Walker Buehler, so he'll be watching tomorrow. Sonny Gray lowers his ERA to 0.89. I would say he's about the only bright spot right now in St. Louis, with that team just kind of falling apart. Jose
Dude,
Altuve.
I saw
Yeah.
Cardinals fans on Twitter today, like talking about possibly trading or like selling high, I guess, on Sonny Gray, which would be kind of crazy to me. I kind of get it with like the state that they're in, like a little bit, just
Not a
because like, they're not winning.
bad. It's not a bad idea at all, actually. Let me just pull up his contract, though.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's been balling out, but
3
like
years,
there's still
$75
so
million.
yeah, I mean they probably could deal that for sure.
They could do that for sure. That's actually that might be a way to kind of revamp the farm system there. Mason Wynn is having a sneaky, not terrible season.
No, he's been good. I didn't really think he was ever going to be like a over 100 WRC plus guy, but he's like in like the 120s or high teens, something like that.
Yeah, I feel like I saw you put that out the other day.
Yeah. No, he's been a pleasant surprise. And like the guys that they signed to like Lance Lynn and Kyle Gibson, they haven't been too terrible, right? I feel like they haven't been.
I
Like,
don't think.
yeah, I mean, yeah, okay. Lance Lynn has a 3.28. Let's see what Kyle Gibson.
Oh, that's much better than I expected.
Yeah. No, I mean, like it's like these are the guys that like their Twitter guys were just like going crazy about picking up.
Gibson has a 3.79.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, they're contributing. It's really like Goldschmidt and Arenado who just aren't like they're big guys who are supposed to be like these absolute demons for them.
Well, Goldschmidt's batting like 200. Arenado's
Yeah.
actually batting average wise doing pretty well. He's closer to 300. Let me see exactly where he is right now.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
He's at
123 OPS plus for Arenado too. So I guess he's been a bit on the uptick, but I mean, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with Goldschmidt. How many years is Goldschmidt left on his contract?
Well, you can't really. Who's going to take? If anything, someone's going to take. It would take Arenado.
Yeah. No, there's no way they'd be able to take Goldschmidt, trade Goldschmidt away. Oh, that's for sure. All right. Either way, we'll get back to the news, but just some interesting things about the Cardinals for sure.
Yeah, Brett always tweets about the Cardinals as well, so he'll add to this next episode. Jose Altuve steals his 300th bag. He's the fifth second baseman in MLB history to have 200 home runs and 300 stolen bases, joining Joe Morgan, Roberto Alomar, Craig Biggio, and Ryan Sandberg. So I thought that was an interesting little tidbit. Jose Altuve is off to a huge. I think I put him down as one of the players who needs to be talked about more. He is playing amazing to start the year. I think it's just being overlooked with Houston off to such a terrible start. Justin Verlander as well has also pitched great in the games he started so far. I think he's had 2 starts. And he didn't go too deep the last start, but he still has played well. Trey Turner tweaks hamstring going second to home in a pass ball and is now expected to miss 6 weeks. Did you see this play?
I saw that play, yeah.
It was just a short, like, weird slide.
Super weird. And he's like so known for being that guy who like does like those sick slides too. So it's kind of weird. Weird to see.
Well, it's because he kind of hit the catcher.
Yeah. No, he did. I'm trying to like think back on that play a little bit.
I'm pulling it up if maybe we'll find the video. Yeah, I am. So I do this. I try to do this as much.
He's out for what 6 weeks? Does one of us have him in the war draft or no?
I'm sure I do.
You might.
So watch the reaction here as well from the catcher. So it was actually Jordan Hicks who he slid into, but he comes up. It's a great slide, but that's probably what did it is Hicks' glove coming down, which then kind of shortened his slide.
Yeah, it like shortened it.
Pops him up.
And then he had to pop up early. Yeah, that's a crazy
Yeah,
play. Those plays are the hardest to make, like for a pitcher, because you're just running straight from the mound, and like the catcher's flipping the ball like where at, like you have no idea where that ball's going to go, so you got to react so fast.
Jordan
And
Hicks was your guy.
I actually have him in the war draft. I just checked that.
Oh, do you? Oh, so you had a tough week then because I'll go back to back now 'cause it's another hamstring injury.
Hundred
Wyatt
percent.
Langford, they just
Yeah,
announced half an hour ago, is out for 3 weeks.
tough week for sure.
Very tough week for your
Um,
war draft.
yeah, that
That
Wyatt
was just
Langford pick, man. I try to be so friggin'. I try to be so
you got
sneaky
too
with
cute.
it, and it's
You
yeah.
got too cute. You got too
100%.
cute on that one.
I got way too cute. I got
That
way
was
too
on
cute.
you. Max Muncy has a 3 home run night against the Atlanta Braves. I was gonna add his stats there because I put him as maybe a person that needs to be talked about more, but his stats aren't as great as I expected. So I will pull them up because he only has 3 home runs. Or sorry, he only has 8 home runs on the year. So he really like almost half of his production came
From that
yesterday.
one
So
night.
8 home runs, 22 RBIs, 262. His OPS is now up to 920. So I he's about where I feel like he's expected to be, which is why I didn't end up putting him as the player we talked about more. Still off to a great start at 33 years old on a team that's dominating right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, I feel like he gets so overlooked just because like the Dodgers just have so many stars, and like he is like a star, like a low key star, but like he's not Otani, he's not Betts, he's not Freeman. Like, there's no one like really walking around a Dodger Stadium with like Max Muncy jerseys on. But he's
No,
just been
I mean he's
such a
playing better.
good player for them for so long.
He's their third best player though right now when you think about it, or fourth best player.
Hundred
Will
percent.
Smith is playing. Will Smith is this past week has been playing really well. Or past 2 weeks has been playing really well. He's like top 10 in OPS the past 2 weeks. Betts and Otani. Otani's now probably number one player in fantasy. I think he'll probably jump Betts after the game he just had, the past 3 games he just had. But Freeman has like an 800 OPS. And he has like 2 home runs. So not that he's playing bad, he's still playing very good. But comparative, Muncy is probably above him right now
It's
across
like
the board
ridiculous.
statistically.
Like you're Freeman and you have an 800 OPS and you're like the fourth, fifth best player in your team right now. Like that, it's just
Yeah, and
insane.
that's not a knock on Freeman at all. It's more just a just kind of a pat in the back to the Dodgers. So moving on, New York Yankees Judge ejected for the first time in his career. I won't pull it up. It was just a really bad strike call from the ump, and Judge just walks away and said that was fucking bullshit. Been bullshit all game, and then the ump threw him out for that. So it was really not. It was really not. But it was his first ejection. I think he said since Little League.
Wow, I didn't know
Yeah,
that. Wow.
yeah.
Hey, hits an absolute tank shot in his first at bat back today. So
First at bat today.
definitely got pissed off from that. You
Yep.
gotta have a set of balls on you for an umpire to eject a guy who's that big.
I think he's and just that well liked.
100%. Yeah. Was it what? I didn't catch the game last. Were they home or away?
They're home.
It was at Yankee Stadium. Okay,
Mm.
yeah. That's that's a one way ticket to just people want to rip your head off.
Yeah, just getting uh, ripped apart. Moving on, Miami front office. We kind of just touched on this, so we won't go into it too much because you spoke about it. But the front office straight out came out and said that they will not be making the playoffs this year, which it's May 5th. So I think I put a tweet out. This ownership is worse than Oakland's. Oakland at least is. I mean, they're terrible, but they're not saying May 5th like we're not making the playoffs because Oakland, you never know. You never know. 17 and 18.
We've seen crazier things in baseball.
We've seen crazier things. A couple injuries we'll just mention real quick, and then we'll move on to the trivia question. Joe Musgrove hits the IL with elbow inflammation. So Padres fans, they go up on this roller coaster. Luis Ariz joins the team. Everyone's hitting. Manny Machado starts hitting home runs. Everyone's playing great, and then Joe Musgrove now has an elbow issue. So hopefully it's not too serious, and hopefully he comes back soon. Stephen Kwan also off to a very hot start. Obviously, average-wise, he's not a power hitter. He hits the IL with a hamstring injury. However, it opens up the door to Kyle Manzardo. Now, I know who Kyle Manzardo is, but you and Brett are more of the prospect people. So I'll let you speak real quick to Manzardo with what you know. I know he's a
Yeah.
prospect.
I
I know
mean, this
Brett.
is This is kind of a rare prospect Guardians wise, just because he has pop and like they're so known for just like they're like little infield prospects or just like big time pitcher prospects. But I mean, he was raking as far as I know in triple. I want to say it was triple A. Yeah,
He was in AAA.
With Columbus. Pulling up his stats right now. He 17% walk rate, which is great. Had 9 home runs over 128 plate appearances, just 29 games, 149 WRC plus. So like, there's no question that this guy is ready. I'm really excited to see what he has to offer at the major league level. He's 23, so he's kind of getting up there in age in terms of how prospects go. So I feel like this is like kind of the perfect spot to call him up, get him comfortable. You know, he's already off to a really hot start in AAA, and hey, I mean, we thought guys who were off to hot start in AAA were going to be fine, but look at Jackson Holiday. So
Yep.
So there's some different with that. But
He's
I
got to
mean,
shave
yeah,
this
he
mustache.
was part of the Aaron Savali deal this past summer. So Savali goes to the Rays. He's kind of that big, not the big time Rays prospect because they've got Xavier Isaac, Junior Caminero, guys like that. But Mazzardo is definitely no slouch. I want to say he was a top 5 prospect in Tampa's system when they traded him for Savali. So pretty cool. I know I'll be watching his debut. I'm sure you will be too. Obviously, he's not like a hyped up debut as Holiday goes, but pretty nice luxury if you're the Guardians because Steve McClellan is having such a good start to the season, and you can kind of plug this big time prospect in for him, which is definitely a luxury.
Yeah, and I think it's going over. Okay, they do play tomorrow, so I'm assuming he will play. I'm assuming he'll make his debut tomorrow then against Detroit. And Flaherty's pitching, so that's no easy thing. But again, the Guardians have a great record. They're 22-12. Their best player, and we'll get to this. This is my eye-popping side of the week. Their best player is playing terrible right now. So now losing Quan, like Manzardo, he might come up and be great. He's not. I don't think he's going to replace Quan's statistics
Yeah,
or
he's definitely
production
not
right
going to
now.
replace Swan's production, especially because they're such different players. Like he's not going to steal bases for you. He's not going to hit for
No,
average for you. He's going to hit for some pop for sure with the 9
no.
home runs that he had in AAA.
Which
But this is kind of the first test for Stephen Vogt as a manager, just to kind of see like what he wants to do with the lineup now that I mean his guy Quan was his guy so far this year. So it's definitely a big loss for the time being. But Cleveland can afford it with how they've been playing.
It might catch up to them though. Next up, Alek Manoah. This is you kind of did like a semi-curse this time because you had a positive Alek Manoah tweet, which is very rare for Twitter. I don't think I've ever tweeted positively about him. 4 innings pitched, 6 earned runs, 6 Ks, 6 hits, 4 walks. I thought maybe he was playing well in the minors, and that's why they brought him up. No, he had like a 6 or 8 ERA or something crazy like that. He was playing terrible. He comes up against the Nationals. Jesse Winker kind of just puts the nail in the coffin with his home run. Again, Winker's been playing great this season. How much rope does Manoah have? 3 starts?
He's got at least 3 or 4 starts of rope, I think, and his numbers are a bit skewed from the minors just because he had some terrible outings at the start of the year. I think he's picked it up a little bit, and then they kind of were just like, all right, like he looked good in his last start. We kind of need to plug this guy. We need to plug someone into the rotation. So let's just call him up, see what we got. And I was watching this debut earlier today, and I was a little bit impressed in the first few innings. I thought he was solid. He had an unearned run. Kind of kept his composure. Didn't really fall apart in the first few innings like you normally see him doing. His stuff looked good. It was moving. And then he got blown
Just
up in
fell
that
apart.
one inning.
I
Just
think he
fell
had 5
apart.
strikeouts to the first 2 innings.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I mean, no, he looked like he looked confident out there. Like he hit Jesse Winker on a 3-2 pitch the at bat before Winker took him deep, and like they were kind of laughing about it too. So like he looked comfortable. Um, Obviously, he seems like the kind of guy who this one bad start might snowball into a few bad starts.
Yeah.
And the Blue Jays can't really afford stuff like this. But I in terms of like how much leeway he has, I'd say probably about 3 or 4 starts is a good gauge.
Yeah, I'm just looking at I for our people who watch, I have the stats up right now. 8.69 ERA this year, 1.98 WHIP. Batters are hitting 337 against him. Last year in the minors, he had a 14.09. Again, he was hurt right? He was hurt, and then they shut him down, or he kind of shut himself down.
He's had like the weirdest MLB career I've like ever seen so far because this dude was, I mean, he was their game one was he was their game one playoff starter, wasn't he? Back in
Yeah, I mean, he was.
22.
What was he, second in Cy Young voting?
Yeah, I mean this guy looked like he was what 24 at the time or around there. Like he looked like he was gonna be third in Cy Young voting at 24. Had 16 wins. Had a sub one whip. I mean, and like the stuff was there. Like he looked so confident, and then it's not like he got injured really, and like couldn't produce. He just started spiraling, and I don't think the
Yeah,
Blue
it seems
Jays
like
could
it's more.
figure it out.
Seems like it's more mental than physical. It's like
Totally.
he's got the yips for. I don't know. Is it
Totally.
called the yips for pitchers as well?
Yeah. It's just the yips in general. I honestly wouldn't be shocked though if you see the Jays try to shop him around because there's got to be a team out there that like looks at Manoah and is like, man, like maybe we could fix him. Maybe the Dodgers. I don't know. If you can't get fixed by the
Andrew
Dodgers,
Bailey.
Andrew
Andrew
Bailey.
Bailey. Andrew Bailey can
Speak it
fix
into
anything.
existence. Andrew Bailey.
I that he could make anyone a great pitcher. All right, trivia question of the week. I had this previously because I was going to try to stump Brett. Think you should know it. We'll see. How many teams did Babe Ruth play for?
Ooh, I'm gonna go with. I don't know this like off the top of my head, so this is kind of a bit of an educated guess. I'm gonna go with 3.
Okay, it is 3.
Okay.
So Boston Red
I mean,
Sox,
yeah, Red Sox, Yankees. What's
New
that
York
third team?
Yankees, Boston Braves.
Okay.
So he went to the Braves the last year. The deal really was that he was supposed to end up being the manager, and the owners promised him that, and then it was never actually going to happen. So he played until June, I think, and then he stopped. Then he retired. He had a game. One of his last games, he hit like 3 home runs.
What's like your stance on him? Like, are
Who,
you like
Ruth?
a big Babe Ruth guy or like?
Yeah, I mean, I think I tweeted this the other day, and I gotta do my timing of tweets better because I think it was a good tweet. I don't. I think comparing errors is just dumb because yeah, you could take Shohei Ohtani. You could say, okay, yeah, pick up Babe Ruth, put him here today, he would suck. Sure, okay. Pick up Shohei Ohtani and throw him into 1920s or 1915 to 1920, whatever you want to do. The world is just completely different. So they don't have the advancements in medical technology, whatever training advancements that we have today.
100%.
And
100%.
life just sucks.
I saw this tweet too. And I kind of thought it had the chance of blowing up. Maybe if you timed it a little better, it could have. But
Yeah, my timing sucked.
but no, I mean, excuse me. Comparing errors is like it's kind of the same for basketball, you know, with like LeBron and Jordan, like just such different errors that you can't, especially with baseball, you can't do that. You can't do it at all.
And again, Ruth was better than most teams. Like he hit more than most teams did at that time. So you have to compare them to to their time and who they were playing against. And Ruth was obviously just leagues ahead. I think when you have to wait until like the 60s or 70s where you can then take that guy and be like, okay, like he could probably play in today's game. So like someone like Willie Mays, I think we can see. Like you watch, we have more video obviously, and you watch him, and you see the athleticism. You're like, okay, yeah, like I can see this guy playing in 2024 with some changes and tweaks, obviously. But then you go watch Babe Ruth, and you're like, oh, this is just a fat guy running around. But again, different
100%.
time.
But like, if you look at like the technology that we have now, like if Babe Ruth had got on like the proper diet, like had a trainer, had all these scouting reports, like all these numbers to look for, like there's no question the talent was there too. I mean, he
Yeah,
was literally getting more
Ruth almost died like twice during his career. There's one season where he had to get like emergency abdominal surgery. The newspapers reported that he was dead. So the world thought Babe Ruth was was dead,
I
and he
didn't know
pops
that.
back up. He pops back up, and he's like back playing in a few weeks. So
Jesus.
I'm never gonna down these players. I mean, they fought during it was just different. World War One was going on again. There's no indoor plumbing, just shitting outside. Like so people are like, oh, Otani would, yeah, okay, Otani be dead, but whatever. Eye popping side of the week, mine is quick. Jose Ramirez over the last 7 days has batted .050, so less than 100 with a 431 OPS. Just thought that was interesting, especially with the Guardians still having a great record. Like I said, 22-12. Losing Quan though, you couple that with Ramirez in this slump, Manzaro's not going to make up the difference. That's my eye popping side of the week. Yours is interesting. Please explain this.
Yeah, yeah. Just to cover yours a little bit too, I saw a tweet from, I don't know if you're familiar with Fuzzy on
I
YouTube
am.
or
Yeah.
Twitter. Yeah, he's a great guy. Obviously, Gardens fan. He said Jose Ramirez is having like the best bad season ever, and it's like kind of so true because like he still has positive WAR. He has 5 homers, which isn't a lot right now in May, but it's not nothing. He's driven in 25 runs. He's swiped 4 bags. And like it's just like so weird because like you've thought this guy, I mean not even thought, like he is struggling, he is having a terrible season for Jose Ramirez standards, but like it's kind of funny because like he's still like putting up numbers and he's still contributing in some way. It seems like all the home runs that he's hitting are like either go ahead home runs for the
Clutch.
Guardian, they're just like yeah, just clutch. So just kind of funny. I thought that was funny, but I'll kind of pivot into my eye popping stat. I was just kind of thumbing around on Fangraphs this morning, and obviously, Mike Trout's out for the time being. But his BABIP, so batting average on balls in play, is just 194, which is the 6th worst in all of Major League Baseball. But he still has a WRC plus of 141, which is obviously 41 points above average. He still has a full 1 FWAR, and the only other player in the bottom 15 BABIP with a WRC plus over 100 is Pete Alonso, who obviously
Wow.
just crushes balls. So like obviously his WRC plus is going to be a little more inflated just because when he hits the balls they go miles.
Hmm.
So kind of just a funny stat. Like imagine how like Trout was killing it before he got hurt, and his BABIP
He
was really bad. So like he
he was
could have,
killing it, but again, he was only batting like 230.
yeah, for sure. So I mean
He had
like
a crazy OPS though. He had like a 917 OPS with like a 230 batting average.
yeah, that's so funny. I mean obviously can't get out with bad luck BABIP wise if the ball's just going over the fence. But it's just funny because like I mean he could have been off to an even better start if he wasn't getting unlucky BABIP wise. So kind of just
Yeah.
something that stood out to me for sure.
Yeah, I hope he comes back. Did you see Stephen A. Smith's comments?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I what are your thoughts on those before I get into it?
Well, just what I think the comparison I made, which I think is good, is I don't see Stephen A. Smith throwing a little fit, and I don't dislike Steve. I've grown to like appreciate Stephen Smith a little more with just I've watched now like podcasts and different things because he's getting into like the political world, and not like I like his politics or anything. It's just he's not yelling, so I'm like okay, like he's an intelligent, well-spoken person. But I never see him yelling about golf players getting hurt, right? And golf is the same thing. It's just like well, golf is obviously way less. You're just swinging, but it's explosive swings, right? And I never see him yelling about Tiger Woods constantly getting hurt and body just falling apart. But again, golfers are just every single day, hundreds, thousands of times, just powerful swings. Similar to baseball. So take that, take the swinging aspect of it, and then throw in all the start stop and collisions. There are collisions in baseball. Mike Trout is running into walls. He's diving, but all the starting and the stopping that's very similar to NFL and NBA. A lot of starting, stopping, cutting. So yeah, you're not getting tackled, but you're you're having these super powerful swings again hundreds of times a day. So I think it was a stupid argument. What did you think?
Yeah, yeah, and I'll be quick here, just to kind of keep things going. But I think a lot of it was kind of just for clicks too, where he was kind of just saying like it's like karma for like wanting to stay with the Angels. I like Stephen A. too personally. Like I think he's kind of hilarious, and I'm not like the biggest first take watcher, like Stephen A. Smith podcast, whatever. But whenever he speaks about baseball, he just kind of seems to be wrong about things. And I mean, he never really played the game. So I kind of just take everything he says baseball wise with a grain of salt.
Yeah, it's Mike Trout's just it's he's such a nice guy too, and you're like he was going after what he does to take care of his body, and get hurt. So I didn't love that. Bold predictions, hot take bold predictions. Yours is I'm quick, I'm easy. I don't think the Braves are going to make the playoffs. That's a very hot take bold prediction. I'm going to stick with it for now. I think the Phillies will win that division, and I think the Braves will end up not getting a wild card. I mean, they just went into Los Angeles and got their butts kicked. So, and their star player, which I'll talk to you about in a moment, is mediocre. But I'll pass it on.
Do you have three? Do you have three like NL wild cards that could slide in over them, like off the top of your head, or no?
No, I'd have to think about it.
Gotcha.
Let me think about it. You do yours,
because I think I could see three slotting in right now.
Give me your three
over them, and that would be one. Well, whoever wins the NL Central, I think the Brewers are going to end up winning that, but obviously there's still a lot of time. I could see the Cubs totally making the playoffs. I think they're a lot deeper than what people think.
Yeah.
I could see the Padres sliding in too. You know, Pryor's going to have someone up his sleeve.
I was going to say Padres and Reds, but the Reds getting swept kind of hurts them.
Yeah, no, I could see that too. But the third team I see the most actually is still the D-backs too. I know there's a lot of time, but this team is really good whenever they get hot. So, you know, they're still dangerous. I know they're 15-20 right now, but Corbin Carroll will get going once the
Corbin Carroll. Yeah, I mean, I guess my argument then becomes no. It's like if Acuna heats up, then they'll be okay. But not really, because again, losing Strider and then Max Fried has been playing terrible. We'll talk more. We'll have to dive more deep into the Braves.
That could be a whole pod. That could be a whole pod. So for my hot take bold prediction, I'm just going to double down on my A's love. I think they'll finish above the Angels in the AL West. I think they'll be a fourth place team in the AL West. And it's not even just like a knock on the Angels in general. I think they still have some young talent. Joe Adell's finally playing well, which is cool to see, although he sucks on the base path still. But I'm loving what the A's are doing. It's like Moneyball all over again. Not even Moneyball all over again, because like they were a playoff team the year before. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure they were a playoff team the year before. Yeah. But there's something about this group, man, where it's like people on my Twitter feed have been saying it's like Major League vibes, Major League 2 vibes, where like the owner's trying to sell and like they're kind of just like all rallying behind. Just like a crazy group of guys, but like they just got so many like unsung guys stepping up right now. Like Abraham Toro has 0.7 F4 right now. He's been kind of like a sneaky little spark plug for them. He has a 132 WRC plus. Like this is Abraham Toro we're talking about. JJ Bleday looks like he's kind of developing into like a solid everyday guy. He has a 123 WRC plus. He has a 0.6 F4. Shea Langoliers has 7 home runs on the year, so like he's kind of a guy who can just like provide power when you need that. I think he could really hit 30-35 bombs this year if he stays healthy. And then like guys like Tyler Nevin like seem to be contributing right now, and Kyle McCann. So like they're doing this like without even like Zach Geloff, who has a 77 WRC plus. Like
he was hurt. He's hurt though, right?
Is he hurt?
I thought he was.
I think he is a little hurt actually. He's only played 24 games, so that would make sense. But like, I mean, even better. I mean, they're doing it without him in the lineup, and like Ryan Noda, who's a good force for them last year, is in the negatives for F4. Seth Brown, who's like one of their only like notable veterans, in the negative F4, and like they're still doing this too. And then like don't even get me started with like the pitching staff, like Mason Miller. I could talk about Mason Miller for another 45 minutes, but to keep things tight, like they're just fun, man. They're fun. Ross Stripling looks like he's like a solid little addition.
Blackburn,
he's throwing well. Blackburn has been dominant at times for them, and then like they got like guys like Lucas Urseg, who's in the bullpen too. He's throwing 100. He's got a 0.4 F4. He's got a 2.01 FIP, a 1.93 ERA. So he's like a great setup guy now. Like all of a sudden you have these pieces in the bullpen, and like they're just winning ball games. Like they're just finding ways to win. It's fun.
I'm gonna look up tomorrow. I want to look up their schedule difficulty ranking, like what their schedule is ranked in terms of difficulty for the rest of the season.
For sure.
My bold prediction was going to be like they'll only be 10 games under 500, but I was like, you know what, I saw you today, so I'll leave it. But they're still going to be below 500. But it is fun, like you said. The owners are out here kind of sucking, and the the teams rally. Hopefully, the fans rally around them and actually go to the game. So we'll see. One player who needs more love. I'm joking. But Jeremy Pena. Terrible year last year. Has come back this year. Batting 325, 3 home runs, 13 RBIs, almost one WAR, and a 139 OPS plus. So very above average in a lot of categories. And I don't feel like he's being talked about that much. But the Astros as a whole aren't being talked about that much because they're off to the poor start. So I think that that's probably where that comes from. So I have Jeremy Pena as my player who needs more love.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. It's so weird because the Astros, like Altuve's, like you mentioned, like 7 home runs, 7 stolen bases. He's hitting 338. Like he's been killing it. Pena's been great too. Kyle Tucker has
Kyle
been on
Tucker
a
hit another
tear
home
as of
run.
late.
Yeah.
Yordan Alvarez is still doing Yordan Alvarez things, although maybe not quite to the extent that we thought, but like he's still hitting the crap out of the
Yeah.
ball.
Bregman's playing terrible
Yeah,
though,
that's
and that's
it,
overlooked.
it is.
He's someone who should be talked about. He's in like a contract here too. He's playing awful.
No, it's crazy. I mean, a lot of people like were giving Bregman like dark horse MVP votes. Like this is, I think that's why um, Brett took him in the war draft, just because he's like, oh, contract year, like proven vet, like
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna do well and just get his bag. So Astros weird team. I'm super interested to see how they're gonna be looking like around trade deadline time because you know they're gonna do something. But for me, player
They'll
who
be
needs
fine.
more love, I think Bryce Terang. It's kind of been known that he's been having a good year. I think, but still, I mean, he's got a 1.3 F4, 129 WRC plus. He's swept 14 bags, I want to say, 2 home runs. So he's doing a little bit of everything. And this is kind of a guy who I thought his job was going to get taken this year, just with Tyler Black coming up too. But it seems like he's really fighting for his job, and he's having a really good sophomore campaign. Only 24 years old too. So this is another piece that the Brewers have for their future. And you know the Brewers love recycling guys. Like I mean, Adames is going to be on his way out soon, and I know Terang can't really play shortstop. He's not really like kind of a chalk shortstop, but still he's an infielder and he's contributing a lot, and he's still got plenty of arb left. So this guy,
He's played shortstop before.
yeah, he has a little bit. I don't think he's like
22
as
games.
refined. Yeah, I wouldn't say he's as refined as Adamas, but I mean,
No,
hey,
definitely not.
it's possible. So definitely kind of just the typical small market recycling in and out. And Terang looks like he's going to be a guy that's going to stick up in the show. So happy for him.
Very, very good. Yeah. Yeah, he's played about 123 innings. That's short. My last thing for the day, and then we're done. Player who needs to be talked about less. I just put Ronald Acuna Jr. because I still feel like whenever I go on Twitter, there's tweets and stuff about Acuna. Ben 274, 2 home runs, 8 RBIs, .7 WAR for 115 OPS plus. So again, you compare it to Jeremy Pena. Jeremy Pena is playing better, not much better, but he's playing better. And you never hear about Jeremy Pena, and you're hearing a lot about Ronald Acuna. So really, actually, like me picking Acuna was more. I looked at Pena's and I'm like, oh wow, their stats are Pena's better, and all I'm hearing is about Acuna. Now again, Acuna is obviously arguably the face of baseball next to Otani, so I get it. But I just wanted to point out that he's not playing too great this year.
No, absolutely. I think that's definitely something that should be pointed out a little bit more. I feel like since he's kind of that stock superstar now, and obviously he won the MVP last year, like the casual baseball fans just gonna be like, oh, Acuna's probably like killing it this year still, and he's not. So
He's not.
definitely, definitely something to point out. Kevin is gonna love this Braves hate, by the way, when he listens to this stuff. So you're earning it.
A lot of Braves say too. I mean, again, they're missing their ace. Sale, who's their ace right now? Chris Sale. It's not Max Fried. Max Fried is like a 4.5 ERA. So
It might
I
be
guess their
Chris
ace is.
Sale.
It's probably Chris Sale, which as we know, wait until like June and let's see if his slender body
Wait until the
can
weather
last.
gets nice out and he takes a bike ride around the
Yeah,
arena.
yeah, and just falls on his face again. That's it for me. You got anything?
No, no.
Cool. Go follow us on everything. Jeb Mays. Jeb Mays, that's his name.
Yeah,
Corn.
Jeb. I want to say
Jeb Corn.
Jeb
Don't know
Corn.
if
Yeah,
that.
whatever.
Yeah, we'll
Welcome,
just call him Jeb
welcome
Corn.
to it. First time here. you're probably listening to this pod now that you're a writer here, and we're shitting all over the Braves. So
Yes,
there's
I didn't
more
even
where
think of
that
that. We'll have to bring him on to like on a Brave episode. But his blog was great. So if you haven't go check it out, check it out. Check out the website. And Sam's done with school in a few days, so
Yep.
Twitter servers are going to be crashing.
Coming home on Tuesday, getting ready for tweets, getting ready for some articles again. So keep an eye out for
Yeah,
them.
Sam's going to be savage. All right, bye.